This poor Mazda. For as long as I've known my buddy Pig, he's owned this RX-7. After developing some sort of misfire issue a couple years ago, the car has done nothing but sit at his house, which we affectionately call the swamp. I think this RX-7 illustrates why. There's a laundry list of concerns to address on this car, but first, we need to get it running right again. We're starting with the basics on this one. Fuel, air, and spark is the combination that you need for combustion after compression. Now, this particular RX-7 happens to be equipped with a real engine, which means that we won't be checking compression first. Instead, we're starting at the start with fuel. Now, it's unknown exactly how old the gas is that's in this tank, so getting it replaced is as good a start as any. Have I mentioned how disgusting this car is? So while the tank is empty, I do want to get a look inside. These RX-7 tanks are unfortunately known for rusting. So with this having not too much fuel in it, I want to make sure we don't have any issues.
See, ever so slightly, just a little bit of like surface type rust on those spot welds right there, but the majority of what I'm seeing looks far better than I was expecting this thing to look inside. I think we're in good shape. We'll throw some fuel in this and see how she does.
Oh, wow. The oil looks surprisingly good. Even though I was planning on changing this for later, it definitely will be fine for a startup. This is the first time this car's been fired up in a very long time. I think we still got more work to do. Now, it's definitely possible that we have a clogged fuel injector or something like that, which is what's causing that kind of spitting and sputtering on the startup. So maybe we'll circle back to fuel after we check the spark plugs. Next up on our order of progression, though, is air, which is kind of an easy kind of freebie here. We just want to check the air filter and make sure that it's not too dirty. Not nearly as bad as I was expecting, but far from good. Our spark plugs are the first thing that we're going to check in the ignition system. If these look good and don't need replacement, then maybe we have a bad coil pack, or we're going to have to circle back to the fuel injectors. Yeah, I think that might be part of our issue. Cylinder 1, 3, and 5 all look very similar, but cylinder 7 here on the end, you can see, looks completely different. Has a completely different wear pattern. So cylinder number 4 on the right-hand side of the engine looks like it might have some sort of issue as well. I went ahead and pulled the coil packs out just to see if we have any difference with the resistance in them that might indicate if we have bad coil packs. Everything that I can tell, these readings are within spec. I went ahead and ohmed out the fuel injectors as well, and there's really nothing that seems to be out of line. So before we go any further and start putting stuff back together, I'm gonna go ahead and leak down test this.
Looks good.
Sometimes you just need to reach out for some help. This RX-7 is the perfect example, but if you're struggling with your mental health, then today's video sponsor, BetterHelp, has the professionals that you need to get you back on track. If there's one thing I'm familiar with, it's anxiety. I have multiple businesses to run, a family to support, my content schedule, which race events I'm gonna take lead at Gapplebee's at. The point is, it's a lot, which is why it's crucial for it to be managed. I'm sure that you're busy too, and if you need a little bit of help managing things, that's okay. I've personally used BetterHelp services before, and I can tell you it helps immensely. Just being able to talk to somebody. Springtime brings its own additional anxieties. The weather's getting nicer, people are getting out and about, there's weddings, parties, fun, but also lots of stress. The majority of BetterHelp members seek support for anxiety, with 69% reporting improved anxiety symptoms after 6 weeks of therapy on BetterHelp. It's easy to start. Just fill out a questionnaire and you will match with a therapist in as little as a couple days. If the fit isn't right for you, it's easy to make a switch to another therapist. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. Let BetterHelp help you rule your anxiety so it doesn't rule you. You can follow my link down in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/Scott. You save 10% on your first month of therapy. Everything's put back together, and before I chalk these spark plugs up to just a random anomaly of the universe, I have two last things that I want to check. First, we're going to verify spark the old-fashioned way. So we're getting spark. because there is a correlation between cylinder 4 and cylinder 7. They're companion cylinders, meaning that they're moving at the same position within their 360-degree engine cycle, only 180 degrees apart from each other. So when cylinder 7 is at top dead center for its compression stroke, cylinder 4 is at top dead center about to begin its intake stroke. So the fact that these two plugs look so similar and different than the rest of the engine is more than just coincidence. So the last thing that I want to do is download the tune on this car and send it to somebody that has a little better idea of what they're looking at. Would you guys believe that the firing order was indeed wrong on this? I sent the file to Fran up at Race Proven Motorsports. We've known him for years. He's done plenty of tuning for us. He took one look at it and said, yep, firing order is wrong on it. So sent us back a revised file, which we've already uploaded onto the car, and it definitely seems to be running different. Now the best thing about us getting this thing running better first, before all the other work we have to do to it, is we get to have a little bit of fun. The tires on this car are absolutely disgusting. With date codes from 2012 and an incredible amount of dry rot, this is the first thing we need to swap out. After that, we're flushing all the critical fluids, and then this thing will be ready to hit the road. And yes, I tightened the lug nuts for anyone that's asking. Brakes feel like the car actually wants to stop now, which is a good thing. The alignment on this thing is far from great. All in all, though, it's not that bad. We made it. Now, after a successful initial test drive, it all went downhill from that point. We almost lost a headlight cover. These, unfortunately, are known for breaking off. I managed to pull over and get it before it went flying off into the wind, but nonetheless, it's not going back on the car. At the rear end, we've got some sort of clunking at certain articulation angles. I haven't really pinpointed that one yet, and it's a little bit lower on my list of things to do because we have some sort of high-end vibration. Once you get up to highway speeds in this thing, it feels like it's coming from the rear end of the car. It is a noticeable vibration. I'm going to guess, though, it's coming from our driveline angle for the drive shaft. Also, something that I didn't notice previously, there is not supposed to be a hole there. Now that the exhaust is out of the way, you can use any number of tools to measure the actual angle on it. Some of them digital. This one's like an older school kind of analog, and it might be slightly hard to tell, but basically we're like 1 degree up at the back end, the differential here, which is completely fine. But as we move closer to the front end, the transmission, it actually goes up a little bit more. Again, I know the angle's difficult. I apologize. That was not a pun, but it is closer to like 2 or 3. And really what we would like is for it to be flattened out just a little bit more. Now, there's kind of any number of ways that this can happen between the spacing on the bushing there and then also where it is mounted in the chassis. This Ronin or Sandberg mount kit, it is Basically, it sandwiches the floorboard of the car, the transmission tunnel there, but there's a little bit of room for error, we'll call it. So when this thing was done years and years ago, whoever put this in, it might just be a little bit too high up. But luckily, in the years since this car was done, they've made plenty of revisions to these transmission mounts. This is a billet mount, no more polyurethane bushing on there, which, funny enough, will kind of transmit vibrations into the chassis. But when I get the other one out, we can compare them side by side. This is basically about half the height of the current bushing that's in there. Put a little muscle on these. This is the height difference that I was talking about. This billet piece is probably only about half the height. And now that this polyurethane one is out, you can see it's all twisted up and just in pretty bad shape, which makes me think that there's definitely an issue with the alignment. This is basically absolutely as low as we can go before the tail shaft of the transmission will hit the brace. And as you can see, we're gonna have to come up with a little bit of a shimming process. This is almost too low as far as the mount goes, but the actual angle on it is much more appropriate. Our old transmission mount turned out to not be completely useless. We can use it for some shims for the lower section here. While I'm waiting for it to cool, went ahead and put the new one on. You can kind of see how it naturally, the way that the trans is sitting, it naturally wants to sit further to the driver's side of the car, which is what it looked like at the back. It looked like the back end of the trans was pointed slightly towards the passenger side. So I think I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna open this hole up just a little bit so that we can bolt it down kind of more where it wants to sit. And we'll see if that combination fixes our vibration issue. Now we're locked back down with our maybe potentially temporary shims in place. You can see we are basically as low as we can go. But when you look at the angle, we no longer have the back end of the transmission pointed up. We are at 0 or maybe even closer to 1 degree pointed down at the differential, which should hopefully correct our issue. Tell that we have a little bit of an exhaust leak. I guess I didn't get one of these old V-bands lined back up 100% correctly. But a positive note, I feel like the diff is quieter. Hopefully a little less traffic going back the other way. No way! It's the Ute Beetle! This thing the other day at the gas station. I love it. I needed to get out of my way right now, though. It feels a lot better. Yeah, this was a big step in the right direction. I'm very encouraged by the progress that we're making. I need to just do a once over on it. We'll seal the exhaust back up, make sure I got everything aligned on that. And then I do want to put this thing on the dyno. I want to just get a better look at the tune that's on it and basically just make sure it's safe to get back to my buddy Pig. We are going to be waiting on some rear suspension components, which might take a little while to track down. Some of the stuff in the back end is a little bit hard to get a hold of. We need some bushings, we need some different arms on it before we can go ahead and take care of that. But in the meantime, dyno. Dyno day for the FD, which also happened to be dyno day for the LS3 Porsche. Carlos was the big winner previously, but none of that matters now because we are on to a new car. Previously, Pig's FD made 386 wheel horsepower. It has a 228, 234 cam, 111 LSA. All useful information. Obviously a different dyno. I'm gonna throw out the number here. I'm gonna throw out the baseline. I'm gonna say it's gonna make ever so slightly less on this dyno.
Making honor of the legend, you know.
Oh my gosh! What a jerk!
Man,
That's
What?
Stop.
Richard's
That's very
standing
good.
right there. That's
You got a
offensive
shot
to
at me.
Richard, man.
What? He just said that it was. I hear him.
Richard, you're
Yeah.
up next. Yeah, you're up next. Oh, he said he's gonna make a number, is what he said.
What did you do to it? What's been done to it since it came back?
Just fixed it. That's all the information you get.
Fixed what?
No more information.
I don't know. Pig stuff runs terribly. So I'm somewhere between 1 and 450. You know what? I'll give him credit.
Ooh.
Maybe since you had your hands on it, cleaned up all the rust, it'll actually work now.
Carlos, you want to go last, or you want to? Okay, you're gonna let Alex go last. Interesting strategy, Carlos.
370.
Okay. All right, we got one more person. Let's see if I can get him on the phone. All right, you ready? You're officially going to be on the board here. Okay?
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, these are the numbers. I'm going to put you in red since you're remoting in. Hold on 1 second for me.
401. I'm going to go in between Richard and whoever's above him.
401, the official guess from the owner of the vehicle. All right, I'll keep you posted.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
See ya. So our baseline, we had a little bit of a technical issue, forgot to hook something up on our end, but we did get a horsepower number, 361, which means that the way that our dyno is reading today versus when this was dynoed however many years ago, we're basically 25 wheel horsepower down from the number that it put down on that dyno, and we'll kind of see where the changes get us. What are you seeing?
Junk.
You said something about the
Yeah,
fuel.
fuel injectors are basically maxed out already. We'll see. It was lean up top. I'll put a little in it and see if the injector duty stays where it's at, which is already 100%. And put a couple degrees in it and see if it likes it. If it's too lean or the injector duty goes too high, I'll just stop the run.
Okay. Whoa! I wasn't really expecting to see that.
Does it start with 4?
It does start with a 4.
I'm not bad, I guess.
Dang. I was, after our initial conversation, was thinking that, whatever. If it got back to the same power level, that I'd be pleased. But over 400 is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, 2 degrees of timing in it.
That's a great number. Lee still hasn't won yet.
Picked up another 4.
The big question, though, how's the fuel
Air
look?
fuels were dead on. We are at still 104% injector duty cycle.
Yeah, so it's pretty well maxed out.
105, yeah. Where did it max? 6192. It's basically where I'm letting out, it's making peak power. So it could probably carry it a little bit higher, but
It would just need bigger injectors.
I'm gonna leave it up to you. Yeah, I don't want to keep reaming on it if it's gonna, because the injector duty cycle is only gonna get higher. It's not gonna get
3 more
lower.
horsepower. 3. We can get that.
Who's at 408?
No one's at 408. You're still winning.
Oh.
You're the winner right now. If you get 3 more
Listen.
horsepower, then you're the loser.
As the tuner, I'm telling you, your injectors are at 105% injector duty, and it's going to go higher.
Yeah. So we're saying we're done. We're maxed out.
We can crank the fuel pressure.
Does it have an adjustable regulator on it?
No, it doesn't.
I can pinch the return line.
Does it have a Corvette regulator on it?
It does, yeah. So hey, it sounds like Lee's the loser again.
Wait, where are you at on this one? 380?
I'm a loser too. It's fine. We're both losing.
I'm less of a loser, and that's what matters here.
Hey, if you ain't first, you're last, Carrington. Richard is the man on the keyboard. Go ahead and tell them what you do and where to find you.
RL Customs. My shop is in Bel Air. I do tuning and fabrication. I have a YouTube channel, is I Build Cars, and on Instagram, I'm 2JZ Fox.
I mean, we got to mess with him a little bit first, though, right?
Couple weird noises.
Bring that too. All right, man. A little bit of bad news.
No way, you're lying. Okay, obviously this is fake.
Dang it, man! Come on.
He's getting it
You're
off.
making me look bad. Like I'm recording this and everything.
I mean,
Dang
I
it.
guess you would, but obviously that's fake.
All right, here. 408.
408.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Picked up a little bit of power and got the map looking a little bit better, a little bit more clean. It's maxed out on injector, but otherwise, like everything looks a little bit better now.
I'm good with that, man.
Yeah. So.
Well, so my only complaint is that your guess was less power than it made when it was running wrong before.
Well, see, I figured that it was maxed out on injector, which it is.
Okay.
But
All right.
he basically picked up 50 wheel with the car.
Yeah, so that was worth doing, right?
Yeah, correct. Well, and he said that it's cleaner too. So it was doing a little bit of weird stuff like AFR wise, and like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either.
Right.
So now it's a little bit better, and it picked up a little bit of power. So
Awesome.
you're gonna drive this thing tomorrow, right?
What?
Yeah, you're gonna drive it tomorrow when I meet you.
Okay.
Bored out.
I got to talk you into driving your own car. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I could take it around the neighborhood.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Instead, we're starting at the start with fuel.
Oh, that was slick.
Pour that in on the nose. I'm calling it.
Fuel, air, and spark is the combination. I swear I just did a combination again. Will not be the first thing we're checking.
That was a good one.
We now nailed the first time for that.
Yeah,
Damn.
I like it.
Driveline angle for the drive shaft. Bless you.
Nope, I didn't mean. Don't even know how to work my phone.
This will be good for the outtakes at least.